So this is the planner that I've been using since the start of 2022. This one I just bought from the mall. Although I would recommend that you buy on online stores instead, as you'll pay a cheaper price, way cheaper price compared to the one that I did. So this is what it looks like. It's a weekly and daily flower planner, and it has a code on it. And what I like about it is this thing here that keeps it locked and closed, and thus avoiding all the folds from these pages here. So inside there are two kinds of pages that you'll find here. The first one are pages for the planner themselves here. They're divided into 7 rows rather, and on the second half of it are just vacant notes where you can just write things that you want. Here it says freeboard. So anyway, let's focus on the planner part. So here in the weekly plan, it has the checkpoint. What I normally do in the checkpoint is to write stuff that I'm thinking about or YouTube video ideas. So I write them down here. Or if there is a lesson that I just learned and I want to be familiar with the concept, so I would write them down here. So if you've noticed, I have several pens when I use the planner. So each color represents a particular day in a week. For the checkpoint, I used a Pilot Friction pen. So I use this because since it's a friction pen, I can easily erase it. And I would very much hate to have erasures on the page, so I would use the Pilot Friction pens for the areas here. If you've noticed at this side, there's a shaded black number there. It's 1 to 3 until 12. These are numbers for the months. So since I started with January, so I shaded the number 1 still with the friction pen. So here I have the start. I started using this planner January 27, so that's the very first thing that I did here. And one of the things that I like is that it's an open journal, meaning you will be able to use it whatever year you want, because you're the one who is gonna have to write the numbers on it. It's a good thing somehow, because there are planners that are designed for a specific year, and once you pass that year, you can no longer use it because it's quite inconvenient and confusing. So here, for Monday, I use the maroon Pilot pen. It's a G2 with a 0.7 ink. So Mondays are maroon days. For Tuesdays, I use the orange. For Wednesday, the green or yellow green, I'm not sure. And then there's a dark green, which I use for the Thursday. This is quite dark. Sometimes it kind of gives the ink a blackish shade. And then Friday, I use the sky blue one. And then Saturday is for pink, still a G2.7. And lastly, for Sunday, I use the violet one. So by this time, I'm already quite familiar with the different colors that represent the day. And since I am, it's easier for me to determine what are the things that I need to do on a Tuesday, for example, since they are color combinations. So here, on these areas here, I write the exact day. So this is January 27, it's a Monday, and it's the first day of the week. And then here, in these areas here, I made use of them to write words of affirmation, like a mantra for a particular day. And then I like bullets. So when I'm done with all of the things here, I check them. So they kind of work for me. they make my mind more organized. And then for Tuesday, I do the same. I have words of affirmation here, and then the things that I need to do. So this is for the first week that I use this journal. So it's not entirely for the whole year. I've noticed that I've been writing on it, and at the present, I last stopped at this week here, which is August 10. That's the day for today. And a few more pages, August. So there are pages like this, divider pages, that I use for quotations from the books that I read. Actually, I've only used the first divider page. I want to show you how it looks like here. So I just like them this way, colorful and in different directions, because it gives me like a vibe from one of the binders that I used to have when I was in high school. So far, this is the only divider page that I've used. I haven't figured out what I will be doing with the other divider pages, since there are several of them. So this is the last page that I've worked on. That's for this week. This is where the month of August ends, and this is September. So September, I think I still have a whole month of September until 30, and then this is the start of October. But I think, yeah, October ends on the 16th. After October 16, I have no more pages. So I just plan on continuing them in my current bullet journal until the rest of the year. And I think it's a lot better that way. On to the second half, or to the second part of my planner, I have here quotations from a book that I've been reading. So I write the title here, and then I write the day, like the first day that I read the book. I write it here, the title, and then the exact quotations or statement, and then somehow for a writing prompt, I just say something about the statements that have struck me. So for this book, the first book I have here is A Purpose-Driven Life. And if you have read it, you know that it involves a 40-day reading challenge. So that is why most of these pages fall under A Purpose-Driven Life. So I have here day 1 or page 1 until the 40th day. So again, there's a divider page, which until now I'm not sure what to do about. So the first book ends here, A Purpose-Driven Life. That's a 40th. I use the blue and black G2.5 pens for this one. And then for the second book that I have here, I used another color, and this is also another pen, although it's still in black. It's Atomic Habits, and for Atomic Habits, I spent around, I think I spent around 12 days reading it. So I keep writing whatever it is that struck me, so that somehow it works on my absorption process. You know what they say about reading? It's only helpful when you apply what you read. So I have here another book. I think I used a friction pen on this one, that's why it's kind of light. And then I used the G2.7 pen that I mentioned earlier, dark green. So there you go. There are still other books here. There are still a lot of pages for my notes here, although I would personally prefer that instead of having all these extra pages for notes, it would have been a lot better if they just had these pages under the planner that is ready for an entire year. They ended at October 16, so instead of ending at October 16, they could have ended at December 31 using these extra note pages, because I think people have a lot of extra notes and they would prefer that their planner will be good enough for the entire year. So anyway, that's all for it for my planner. I wish that somehow I've encouraged you to use one, because it's very easy to have our minds topsy-turvy over the things that we need to prioritize, especially these days when we need to balance our work and things about our other relationships and things about at home. So a good planner is going to help.